Well, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Could you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Oh, yes. Well, as you indicated, I'm Lawrence Jones, the commercial attaché here at the Jamaican High Commission with responsibility for Jamaica Promotions Corporation, which is the government of Jamaica's agency dedicated to attracting foreign direct investment into the island, as well as facilitating the export of goods and services out of Jamaica. We seek to do so in a number of ways, both from a promotional standpoint, in getting the message out that Jamaica is ready and for business, but also in the facilitation side of things, where JAMPRO assists the investor in meeting the regulatory requirements, obtaining data and information which is relevant to them developing their business plan and ensuring that their investment is commercially viable. And on the other hand, we assist Jamaican manufacturers, processors, farmers to access markets in Europe, usually through distribution networks, as well as to the end user, being the supermarkets or other third parties. So in a nutshell, that is what our office does within the European region.
Okay. Well, I'd just like to point out again that from the Pan-African Business Expo's point of view, we would like to see if we can extend
into
that
Europe. Yes, yes.
Into Europe.
Absolutely.
And as well throughout the African and other Caribbean areas. So would you like to say what's the ambition and the international strategy of Jamaica with regards to those markets?
Yes. As it stands now, Jamaica recognizes the nexus with the continent of Africa and the ancestry and the history that we have. We also identify that the continent is ripe for trade. It's one of the leading emerging markets from our perspective, and within those markets, our goods and services are beginning to take hold. In fact, there are Jamaican food and drink processing companies which have been expanding their brands within Africa via their European hub. I think that's primarily for logistics and transport purposes, but it is clearly a market that we see growing, that the world has recognized as growing, and we want to take part in that. In the first instance, it's us sending our goods and services over there to enrich our people, but we would like to see it go the other way as well, where Afrocentric products are entering the Jamaica, not only for Jamaican consumers, but maybe using Jamaica as a hub to then access the more lucrative markets of North America.
Right. One of the aspects we were recently countries we recently talked to were the Malawians, and they also are promoting pulses, which just so happen to be like gunga peas, rice and peas, pigeon peas and kidney beans.
Yeah.
And they were interested. And these are the sort of things that the Pan-African Business Expo wants to facilitate. And what we'd like to do is to see how we can get into conversations with you on those sorts of things. But could you also tell us a bit more, because I've told you a few exports, specific exports that would come from the Malawians to Jamaica. There are one or two things that I think that Jamaica has on offer. Could you talk to us about them? I know there's some coffee as well as a few other products.
Oh yes. Well, as it is right now, I'd say a lot of the processed foods out of Jamaica, whether it be the sauces, the nutritional drinks, and the like, are making their way into Africa. We would actually like to see as well movement of more commodities as well coming out of Jamaica into Africa. Jamaica has a phenomenal amount of limestone, pharmaceutical grade limestone as well, which could be brought into Africa, particularly maybe Nigeria, for their cement industry. There's also the opportunity of African companies investing in Jamaica and then bringing products back into Africa. So the opportunities are wide, very wide. And it is now for businesses to identify those opportunities, come into JAMPRO and allow us to help facilitate those commercial activities happening. There is also a particular export that we have into Africa. It's not a good, but it's a service. Certainly with respect to our brand in music and sports, we're seeing our creative industries moving into the African continent. In particular, our musicians performing at concerts across the continent, not only generating what I would consider export revenue, but also helping to develop those markets. The music production side of things. One might know that Jamaica has more music production houses per capita than anywhere in the world. And that experience and that knowledge can be transferred into the continent, and again, generating more wealth for all.
Well, I also believe that there is lots of music management to harness lots of those young talents.
Absolutely.
And promote them, because there's international infrastructure for that development. But could we start off with some things more traditional? From the farming side, there are lots of hardwoods, crafts that we want, I think Jamaica would like to develop. Are there any particular other parts of the agricultural industry as well as the agro industry? Because I do know that the teas are also specialities which seems to be taking hold in the diaspora in the UK.
Yes. Well, certainly with respect to teas and this whole drive of a more healthier lifestyle, teas which have a detoxification effect on people. You're right, we are seeing that grow not only within the diaspora in the UK, but within mainstream British consumer markets. I've been told that the Cersei tea is the new anti-cancer drug, if you wish, for prevention. That has to be proven, but you know, the fact is that it is within the market a perception. So these are areas that we're growing in these markets, and I believe that as our food and beverage companies progress into the continent more closely, these products will get an opportunity to be promoted, for the wellness factors of them to be highlighted within Africa, and we see consumption happening. And I do believe as well that Africa has an ability to produce more than Jamaica simply because of the land mass. And that creates now a very unique opportunity for joint ventures, where entrepreneurs in Jamaica and entrepreneurs in Africa can come together, do a joint venture partnership, where we bring our knowledge about the teas, maybe even bring certain strains of teas that we cannot grow enough of in the island, and grow that in Africa under this joint venture, which again would benefit both parties.
You are invited to Pan-African Business Expo, a historic event for the African Caribbean business communities in the United Kingdom and abroad, promoting international trade with Africa and the Caribbean. The event will be held at King's College, London, Strand, on Thursday, 17th April 2014, from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. This year's theme is Empowering Businesses to Engage Effectively in International Trade, organized by Packers Imports and Exports, Packers for Events, sponsored and supported by Pan-African Business Expo. Be there.
So, could you tell us a bit more about the development of the tourism industry, which I think is reasonably well developed?
Yes, I mean, we with respect to the tourism industry in Jamaica, we are very proud of what we've been able to achieve. There are very few countries that can state that during the global financial crisis and the recession, they were able to increase arrivals year on year on year. Granted, that is an impact of our negotiations with the airline companies to ensure airlift into the country, but that's the backbone of a tourism sector. It's arrivals. Once they arrive, what are you there? What can you offer them that's appealing for a holiday? Well, we have been successful in attracting a number of the leading hotel brands. In fact, the most recent stint of investments out of Spain has seen all the major Spanish resort brands coming into Jamaica to a great extent and developing that industry. And in fact, just last week, we broke ground on a medical tourism facility which would provide medical services to the guests within these resorts. Again, another Spanish company. So we're quite keen to develop the mainstream hotel sector and supply a number of incentives for companies to come in and build out the infrastructure and offer their brands. But we're also keen to see the development of the cottage resort industry, whereby mama papa operations, where members of the diaspora can set up bed and breakfasts in Jamaica, offering a different type of product, a more community-based product, where you can interact with Jamaicans in the communities, experience the local cuisine within the communities, and speak with folks and have a truly cultural experience. In addition to that, we also claim to have more tourist attractions in Jamaica than the region combined. And again, that may be because of the investments we have had within both natural and man-made attractions. But where I see the future going is medical tourism. Providing medical services, evasive, non-evasive treatments to foreigners. Why does an American or a Canadian have to go all the way to Asia to receive medical care when they could simply come to Jamaica much closer, undergo the operation or the treatment, and then recuperate in paradise? Yeah? And so we are targeting these companies, and there are even Jamaican investors who are pursuing those as we speak. Another very keen area is sports tourism. Again, leveraging Jamaica's brand of athletes, Jamaica's brand as an athletic country, and providing sports tourism packages. So you can imagine students at high school or even universities coming to Jamaica during the summertime and being trained by the coaches of Johan Blake and Asafa Powell and Usain Bolt, and gaining that experience and coming back after, not only with the knowledge, but well rested and prepared for their next threshold in the development of their skills. So I think these are some key areas within the tourism subsectors that we are pursuing and making headways.
Okay. Let's go back, can I say, to the food and drink. We talked a lot about the teas and the foods, but dare I say, alcohol is an international brand.
Yes.
But I do not believe it's been used to target Africa. Is there much you can tell us about the alcohol industry and its benefits? Because it has been exporting rum for quite a while.
Centuries.
And it's also added to that some beers.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes. I think within that sector now. And you're talking about trying to bring our rum products into Africa.
Yes.
Well, I must confess that is not one of the areas that we have looked in great depth, but I am certain that the rum brands in Jamaica, beyond Appleton, there's Rum Fire, there is Rum Bar, number of different brands, Port Royal rums and so on, that are coming about, and they're all seeking markets for their products. And that would be something that I'd be very keen to speak with my counterparts in maybe Ghana, Nigeria, South Africa, whereby we could provide some linkages between our rum producers and the distributors, retailers in these countries. I wouldn't put anything out as in my position here. Every opportunity must be pursued and pursued quickly, diligently, and ascertain as soon as possible whether it's commercially viable. And as soon as it's commercially viable, we know it will happen. But the first step is making those linkages, and I'm hoping that the Pan-African Business Expo will provide that opportunity for me to link Jamaican brands with potential distributors and buyers within the continent.
You are invited to Pan-African Business Expo, a historic event for the African Caribbean business communities in the United Kingdom and abroad, promoting international trade with Africa and the Caribbean. The event will be held at King's College, London, Strand, on Thursday, 17th April 2014, from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Organized by Parker's Imports and Exports, Parker's 4 Events. Sponsored and supported by Pan-African Business Expo. Be there.
You spoke about mining. Now, most people know that bauxite is one of the big mining industries.
Yes.
But I believe you're exploring in other industries.
Many other areas. Jamaica is awash with minerals. When I say awash, I mean a wide variety of minerals. The question in many instances, is there enough of a particular mineral to justify it being a commercially viable investment? And we strongly believe that our limestone sector, Jamaica has billions of tons of limestone, and fine, it has aggregate quality limestone, but it also has pharmaceutical grade limestone. And these products are used in your toothpaste, in your aspirins, things like that, and fetch us premium price. We strongly believe that there's an opportunity for miners to come in, extract the limestone, process it right there in Jamaica, and export it to the pharmaceutical sector, as well as the construction and aggregate sector. And I'm very confident that as the United States comes out of its global recession, and it's quite clear that move is afoot, you're starting to see increased construction, house prices going up. There will be demand for construction aggregates, and I think Jamaica is well positioned to provide those goods to that market.
Well, you talked about that, but that will mean that there's going to be a big demand for energy. How are we coping with energy in Jamaica?
Well, energy in Jamaica is a serious issue. It's a fact that we have one of the highest tariff rates for power. And it is the objective of the government of Jamaica and the Ministry of Energy to bring those prices down. And that can only be done through the changing out of old, antiquated electricity generating facilities and replacing them with new, more efficient facilities. In addition to that, it is our national policy that a significant proportion of the power supplied into the national grid will be from renewables. And so last year, we successfully ran a tender process where a number of renewable energy companies in solar and wind made proposals, and we are processing those now and anticipate that in due course they will be adding to the grid very shortly. But in addition to that, the Petroleum Corporation of Jamaica, which is the fuel agency, the energy agency of the government, is pursuing an initiative wherein we are seeking investments into our onshore and offshore oil and gas sector. We have plotted out a number of offshore and onshore blocks, and we are working very closely with African oil exploration companies to attract them into the area, where they can now start to sink some wells and bring out that very valuable resource.
Okay, but all of this talks about, again, a well-established international sector. There is also talk about being a global hub.
Yes.
Can you tell us something about that?
Absolutely. This is the global logistics plan. In a nutshell, we would like to be the fourth global logistics hub of the world, behind Rotterdam, Singapore, and Dubai. Jamaica is well placed to achieve this goal. At present, we are the leading transshipment hub in the region. We have the 7th largest natural harbor in the world. We are perfectly located just outside the Panama Canal. We already have the major cargo carriers operating in the region. We have some of the highest proficiencies on the ports with regard to services and ancillary services which shippers and transport logistics companies would require. And the idea behind this is that we attract certain investments which would bring the infrastructure to a point where we are now a global logistics hub. This is a commercially viable opportunity. The fact of the matter is that next year, the Panama Canal, the expansions on the Panama Canal will be concluded, and the mega ships out of China, the post-Pamex 2 ships, will now be able to travel through the canal. And when they come through the canal, there are only 3 ports that can accommodate them in the entire region, and Kingston is one. And we anticipate that we will attract something like 16% increase in cargo traffic coming through the canal next year, and we'll attract a significant proportion of that. And this would then now lead not just to transshipment, breaking bulk and putting on feeder ships, but it would actually allow us to do more value added. One can conceptualize semi-finished goods leaving China, coming into Jamaica, the value added being done, and then exported on to those lucrative markets in North America and Europe. The opportunities are exciting. And as we develop those plans and the projects within the plan, I really look forward to the day where we can actually claim to be the 4th global logistics hub in the world.
You are invited to Pan-African Business Expo, a historic event for the African Caribbean business communities in the United Kingdom and abroad, promoting international trade with Africa and the Caribbean. The event will be held at King's College, London, Strand, on Thursday, 17th April 2014, from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. This year's theme is Empowering Businesses to Engage Effectively in International Trade. The Pan-African Business Expo is a platform to meet and network with government officials, diplomats, investors, professionals, entrepreneurs, and various business representatives. The Expo features workshops on various aspects and issues relating to international trade with Africa and Caribbean. Keynote address by ambassadors and high commissioners from various African and Caribbean countries. Invited speakers are Prem Goyal, OBE, CEO Global Markets Consultants Limited, Leslie Batchelor, Director General of the Institute of Export, IOE, Brian Trehen, MBE, UK Trade and Investment International Advisor, Emmanuel Wilfred Jones, entrepreneur and founder of the Black Farmer Food brand, Michael Packer, CBE, strategist and entrepreneur, John Hilaire, Executive Director of War on Want, Musvari, Her Royal Highness Betty Makoni, multi-global award winner, gender expert, founder, Girl Child Network Worldwide, Sonia Brown, MBE, business communicator, branding strategist, Mavis Amankwa, entrepreneur, PR guru, author, and motivational speaker, and other distinguished speakers. This is a great opportunity to come and explore business opportunities in various African and Caribbean countries. Showcase your products and services to potential clients in the United Kingdom, Africa, and the Caribbean. Network with like-minded potential business partners in UK and abroad. You will meet potential investors and learn how to access funding to start and develop your business. Exhibition stands are tailored to suit your business needs. For sponsorship, exhibition, delegate packages or bookings, visit www.panafricanbusinessexpo.com. International delegates and exhibitors should call +44 79 3135 3737 or +44 207 873 2165 or email sales@packers4events.com. Delegate entry fee at £60 and that includes lunch, access to all workshops and drink reception. Exhibition packages from £150. Organized by Packers Imports and Exports, Packers 4 Events. Sponsored and supported by Pan-African Business Expo. Be there.